everybody, welcome back to the BamCast podcast. The BamCast, as always, is the home of the anti-PC. Shout out to Boomdraw Physics for the intro song, Prismatic Verse for the intro sequence, don't know. Check out youtubebright.com, promo code BAM10, get 10% off anything you want. And pretty soon, we're gonna be rocking the YouTube Bright merch right here so you guys can get an idea of what it's like, you know. Here with me as always is the faithful co-host, Bobby B.
Don't know.
And it's another Sunday. Welcome back to the par, guys. My Virgin Domo messaged me earlier and he was like, yo, the tagline, join the par. And yeah, I kind of like that. So that's the tagline for the BamCast now. You know, the BamCast, join the par. You know? So, what's good, Bobbert? What were we talking about before the pod? Because I actually wanted to, your thing about big woman fair bush.
So that's how we're starting this week.
That's how we're starting this one.
I mean, it's not that big man for have bush. It's that I personally am not a big fan of a clean shaven vagina. Trimmed, fine, manicured, fine, shapes, landing strips, diamonds, whatever, fine. Clean shaven, nah, not a fan. No, it look young. You know, I don't like young.
And you have a kid, so that must be extra weird.
Exactly.
I'm a fan of all of the above as long as it's not an afro.
Yeah, no, there's obviously
like limits, know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
so I have a lower limit and an upper limit.
I manscape, right? Like,
of course.
I manscape. So like all I'm saying is, right, manicured lawns are way nicer to look at than a bushy old property, right?
Exactly.
Like everyone can agree to that.
So that's it. That's all I'm saying is.
And we use it. If we're using the analogy of a manicured lawn, bushy property, I guess you don't like the asphalt.
Exactly.
You don't like the asphalt or concrete.
No, just raw dirt. No.
There you go.
It's a nice, well trimmed. You can do your shapes, your topiaries. I'm cool with that. I'm alright with that.
Man says you can do your shapes, your topiaries.
Yeah.
You know?
We're going by the lawn analogy, so you do your topiaries.
Yeah, a landing strip's kind of, it's pretty fire. Like it's a welcome surprise.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like and you go, oh, that's pretty fun. It's like when they're piercing somewhere that you didn't expect them to be, and you just buck up on them.
I mean, I'm just a fan of piercings overall, so.
I know, but it's more fun when you don't know they're there, and then you buck up on them, and you're just like, oh, look at that! Like, you know, you already were having the best day ever, and then it just got a little bit better. You're like, oh, look at that. Love it.
It's the best day
ever. Yeah, somebody commented on the Nickelodeon versus Cartoon Network versus Disney Channel debate that we did, which was a year ago, by the way.
We did that?
Yeah, when COVID did just that, and we're doing Zoom pods. Somebody left a comment and asked, how come we didn't rate Drake and Josh as S tier? Why didn't we rate Drake and Josh as S tier? How isn't Drake and Josh S tier? We might have got that one wrong. Unless Bob can defend.
Did we not? Is it that we didn't rank them or we put them?
No, we were ranking shows.
Did we put them at below S tier?
We were ranking shows.
Did we even mention Drake and Josh?
Yeah, we did. It was at A tier, but we didn't give it S tier. Which, I mean, that's still good. But
I mean,
considering, isn't Drake and Josh like one of those shows?
I guess like the memes and the culture, it's longevity.
Longevity.
But
flip your mic up.
I don't know. Maybe we got that one wrong, guys.
Yeah, no, you see, we're not married to our thoughts here.
Yeah.
We can be wrong. We're probably like on a train and didn't want to give everything S tier.
Possibly.
More than likely, because I'm not gonna go rewatch that one.
And if we didn't defend it there, we're not gonna defend it now.
Big facts. Because Drake, we got that one wrong. Drake and Josh, S tier show. We got that one wrong. Thank you, listener. I would check for the comment, but this is how I'm seeing that. So, love you though. How you week been, Bobbert?
I don't know. Time has melded into just one stream.
You've been saying that for about 2 weeks. It's been one long day for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know how like everything's just weird. Champs is usually a super big thing.
Samantha, alarm, goes off every day, and she sleep through it,
That's the first thing Bob
and
said
I
to me.
don't.
The first thing Bob said to me when he stepped
So
through the
much
door
for sleeping in
was that he woke up at
For
7
me.
o'clock.
on a Sunday morning. Yeah.
The first thing Bob said to me when he walked through the door, because he asked me if I did just wake up, and I was like, nah, I've been awake since like 9, but I was playing game. Bob said, oh, 9 must be nice for you. I've been up since 7. I was like, why, the kid? No, apparently, Sam's alarm just goes off at 7 a.m. every day, regardless of the day.
I mean,
And she doesn't wake up.
the thing is, it's necessary the other 6 days of the week, you know.
But it's not necessary for Sunday.
No. And then, so Sam has trouble sleeping sometimes, so I got her some melatonin gummies that I saw Casey Fennell did talk about it on Twitter. She said, yo, they work for her. So I looked into it. I was like, all right, let me try this. Buy a bottle of the gummies, give it to Sam. She take them. She's like, yo, it's not really helping me to sleep, but giving me some fucked up dreams.
Definitely. Melatonin wild.
But she's like, but the benefit that she does get from it is that she's not groggy when she wakes up in the morning. I say, yeah. So I started eating it. She hates the taste of it. I love it. So I started eating them like sweetie. But the benefit for me, once again, it will help me go to sleep, but I wake up easier in the morning, especially because I'm usually baked in the evenings. So,
big facts.
like yesterday, I took one at like 8 o'clock. I never got to sleep till like midnight. So like, it's not a
Dog,
sleep
when I
aid.
take
It's a
melatonin-
wake up aid. It weird.
Bro, when I take melatonin,
But she is dead in the mornings, and the alarm. This morning, dog, I tell you, man, I'm sleeping. I hear the alarm. Just a boom and tap her 2 times. Babe, nothing. Tap her harder this time on the leg. Babe, nothing. It's like, you know, fuck this. So I have to get up, go around the bed, her side, go lock off the phone. I was like, fuck it, I'm already up. I'm out.
nah.
Go bun game on my laptop in the living room.
You have
until
a
they
problem.
wake up.
You know.
What do you mean?
You have a problem with these games that you can't win. But continue.
It's not, you can't win them. It just takes like days.
Continue. Go off.
So yeah, no. What was the main point of this conversation?
Sam made you wake up at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, no, we got
And
through
she-
that.
and she-
Why did I input that little jewel, that gem?
I have no idea, but it's
It
pretty
was
funny.
there was a thing that we were talking about.
When you say you had a you had a point in
your
mind.
main
My main point. Sorry guys, this is what happens when we par. You know, we branch off into trees and stories and stuff. I don't understand how.
So yo,
Hold on. I don't understand how melatonin works like that for you though. Like I take.
how it helped me wake up?
Yeah, like I take. No, I understand that part. Cause you're refreshed. But when I take melatonin,
You're not.
I have like 15 minutes, and whatever I'm doing or wherever I am,
You sleep.
I'm out. The game has been like, you know, I'm out.
Nah, I took it as a sweetie.
As a sweetie.
I
I
just-
did
I
that
just
with
went. I was doing that with Samantha vitamins, and she cussed me off.
Yeah, I was gonna say I used to do that with my sister's
I had to
vitamins.
find something else.
I used to do that with my sister's vitamins, bad man. Yo guys, we're gonna take a quick break. Alright, and we're back. What are you saying?
I was going to talk about stuff.
What kind of stuff? You know what I actually want to pick your brain about before you venture off?
There you go.
I pull back that a bit because it might hit the thing. I purposely have not looked into the details of the what's going on in Israel, Palestine side of the world because I know it was going
You mean the thing that gets you demonetized?
No, I know it was going to vex. I don't care about that. This page is monetized.
The thing that gets you kicked off the algorithm, the thing that gets you in trouble with half of the Western world.
I don't care. This page is monetized. I don't care. You guys who fuck with us, fuck with us. Oh, by the way, thank you guys for getting us to 400 subscribers. That's been really dope. We were at like 290 something a month ago, and now we're at like 4 bills. Thank
Big
you
up on
guys.
yourself.
You know, just share with your friends. Keep hitting that subscribbles.
Don't
But yeah, no, I've been personally avoiding it because I know it was gonna piss me off. So I figured, you know, let me just wait.
I mean, you know,
What's going on?
I realized today there's a age divide on the issue because my neighbor is on the Israeli side.
All right, before you get to that, what's going
But then
on?
again, he's
Like,
also kind of right wing as a person, so I understand that.
I know war a pop off.
Well,
Why?
no, it's too It's literally, and I said it to him today, that everybody in that conflict is right and wrong.
Everybody in that conflict is right and wrong.
And the issue is that they both need to be able to tell their respective people that they won. And
All right, hold on.
All right, so
Hold on. When you say they're right and wrong, what are they right about?
So
What was the inciting incident?
this incident or the overall conflict?
This incident. I know the cause of the overall conflict.
This incident is, kids, if you don't know, it's the British. Big up. Just like most things in the world, everything's their fault. It's very simplistic, but it's really the British's fault.
Coal and potatoes.
So took over the whole fucking world with coal and potatoes. Amazing. But what was I saying?
What was the inciting incident for this conflict?
It was Ramadan, or it might still be, I don't know, the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, and they have a day called Eid or Eid or whatever. That's a big day. Sorry, not whatever. I'm not being insensitive. I just don't know how to pronounce it.
And he's just speeding through the story.
Yeah. So, and they were having their church service in the Al-Aqsa Mosque, I think it was called. Big mosque in Jerusalem. The Jews, the Israelis, were having their own festival or whatever celebration, and they had a march, and they decided to march right beside the mosque. So
Smart.
there was conflict there. People started throwing stones, and the Israeli police and military, in a bid to protect their the Israeli citizens, raided the mosque with flashbangs and smoke bombs and on women and children inside, and basically kicked everybody out of the mosque and kicked all the Palestinians out of the area. And it was a big flashpoint because recently, well, for a long time, but it recently picked up again. Israel has been pushing Palestinians out of their homes, and literally out of the house they're living in, and then putting Israeli settlers in those homes or on that land.
When you enter a person's holy place, we're not particularly religious, but we have respect. When you enter a person's holy place in an area where conflict is already rife with conflict, and throw flashbangs on women and children.
Jerusalem is an
How did they not
important
see-
city to 3 religious groups.
How did they not see escalation immediately occurring?
It's a pot of oil over a really big fire. So it will boil, but at some point it will just burst into fucking flames and burn everything down
Which it does.
from time to time.
Okay. Alright, so that was the inciting incident.
So that happens. But as I said, this with the background of the settlers, the Israeli pushing out the Palestinians more out of the land, and the settlers being installed. I saw videos of Israeli settlers using live ammunition and shooting at protesters.
Okay.
Yeah, protesters were throwing stones at them. They were shooting at them with their guns.
I don't mean
pistols.
I don't mean to make a joke out of a serious thing, but I'm a Jamaican, so what I do. Doofy from down the road, JA, big up Doofy. The man, they make a tweet yesterday. It was about a video of the man them throwing stones and stuff, and like they're using the slingshots and thing. A man was saying, when him did read the Bible when he was younger, him did really wonder if David could have beat Goliath with a stone, but when them man here fling stone, I was like, bro, it's a different level over there. The man them like,
Yeah, stone that like gunshot, brother.
bruh, and there's some big stone, the man them throwing in about.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
So, that was basically the inciting incident. So, Hamas fired rockets into Israel. But a lot of Hamas's rockets are homemade. They're made in the Gaza Strip. Hamas is the controlling body of the Gaza Strip, by the way. So most of the rockets either don't hit Israel because Israel has something called the Iron Dome defense system.
Is that the photo you sent me earlier in the week?
So there's a picture of like the streaks in the sky from 2 opposite sides One being some haphazard streaks going wiggly all over the place. Those are the rockets from Gaza. And then you have these straight lines. Those are the rockets from the Iron Dome defense shield. So basically, in the last major conflict with Hamas and involving the Gaza Strip, a lot of rockets were fired into Israel and a lot of shit got fucked up. So Israel was like, all right, we need to work this out. How to stop this from happening. So they invented the Iron Dome defense system. And basically, it tracks every rocket that is fired at them. It was made specifically to counter like homemade rockets, like what Hamas uses. And
I thinking about it in my head.
it tracks the path, and if it lands in an area where no one is, it doesn't do anything. If it's going to land somewhere where it will cause damage, it fires a small missile that detonates right in front of the rocket that's fired, and then it destroys the rocket in midair before it can cause any harm. So 90%,
that's pretty fucking cool.
90% of the rockets, and Hamas has so far fired thousands of rockets at Israel, 90% of them don't do any damage. Because they're either shot down, some of them fall short. Some of them fall short and land in the Gaza Strip itself. And so most are destroyed by the Iron Dome, some fall short, and some hit unoccupied areas or just empty land where no damage is done.
And I'm sure some don't detonate. That does
too, because
occur.
they're homemade.
Yeah.
So
I gotta say, Iron Dome Defense, quality name.
yeah, quality.
Quality.
But so Hamas fires the rockets. Israel's is like, all right, cool, we're fucking shit up now. Retaliates with airstrikes and artillery bombardment. Yeah.
I love military jargon. Like, it's so.
It's big dick speak.
It's even big dick speak. It's just removing what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that you can do it. So instead of saying like, "Yo, we killed 15 men and women today," we neutralized 15 hostiles. You see how one sounds way nicer? Yeah. That's wow.
You have to dehumanize the enemy in order to make it easier to kill them. Because they're still people.
As we've said on the pod before, the great othering.
Mm-hmm. So, Israel retaliates with airstrikes. At the beginning of the war, the first casualty numbers I heard was like 2 Israelis had died and like 6 were injured, and 58 Palestinians had died and a couple of hundred were injured, because Israel firing missiles that are flattening tower blocks.
Yeah.
And so they give warning. They give you an hour or 90 minutes. To
evacuate a whole building.
To evacuate your life.
That don't make no
out
sense.
Of your apartment building. Imagine somebody say, yo, you have an hour to take up everything you need out of this building because we're going to blow it up.
Didn't they do it to a media house too? Which is technically against
global conventions.
Yeah, is it the Geneva Conventions or global conventions? I know it's a war crime.
Israel is allowed to do everything they want because all the Western powers need them as a proxy in that region.
Why? That's also something I want to ask.
Because the Western powers need them as a proxy in that region.
Why? Like, to do what? What's the benefit again? I'm asking because I genuinely don't know. Like, I'm sure I do, but
what I said literally is the answer.
They just need a
proxy in the region, so anything they want done in the region, they do it through them. Just like how
that's it. It's just them have a man in the field.
Russia backs Iran.
Mm-hmm.
The US backs the UAE.
Mm-hmm.
That's the United Arab Emirates.
Mm-hmm.
In the war in Yemen.
Is this just an extension of the Cold War fight, like the proxy war that happened in the Cold War?
Everything is an extension of that. It's just global superpowers. But so in Yemen, which by the way is experiencing the worst famine in modern history.
For a long time.
And is not in the news at all because it's
not new. It's a long time thing.
Yeah. UAE started carrying out bombing campaigns with US air support and killing a bag of people. The rebels were backed by Iran, which are in turn backed by Russia. So that whole thing in Yemen was really just a proxy war between those two for influence in the region. So influence is very important to superpowers. So Israel literally fought a war the year after they declared independence against 6 countries and won.
Go again? I heard what you said, go ahead.
The Israeli-Arab War. So Israel was created after the end of World War II. British Palestine, the British Mandate of Palestine. So Britain owned that land in the Middle East somehow, which was Palestinian land. And they, after World War II, because of, Hitler decimating the Jewish population in Europe, the British gave that land to the Jews to form their own country. Just like, y'all can go settle here, do your own thing. This is your historical land. In the biblical context, this is where the tribes of Judah were formed. This is the basis of the Israeli state, of the Jewish nation, sorry. However, those tribes, over those thousands of years, didn't live there, or they intermixed with Arabs. So while the Jews were in Europe, Arabs lived in that land for hundreds or thousands of years. So it was the Jews' land, but then it became the Arabs' land.
Through just natural succession.
Then the British took over. Then the British gave it to the Jews. The Jews came back and said, this is all our land. We don't care about you guys. We're going to take it back. And Britain said, the West said, all right, we'll help.
I'm thinking too logical.
And they actually took Israel in the early parts of the war, the Arab-Israeli war, actually used German weapons. The same Germans who persecuted them. So survivors of the Holocaust
were using German
guns and German planes to fight against the Arab nations around the Israeli state.
That should be a shocker or ironic to me, but that you can't. Fact is stranger than fiction.
Israel won that war against 6 countries. Egypt don't really fight with them anymore because Egypt was like, but Egypt is also pretty pro-Western.
Yeah.
Because years of British rule.
Yeah. I knew that.
So they have close relations now, but the Golan Heights is considered occupied territory that they took from Syria. The West Bank as well is apparently claimed partly by Syria.
You just say these things, and I know these things happen, but the logistic of it blow my mind.
How much land it is?
No, even how much land it is
because that blows my. I look at the time map and go, oh, this little square, and then you think about it logically, that's a fuck ton of space.
Yeah, it's even that, but it's people were there, people lived there, and the man them just said, a few it, and then took it. All the steps that go through
Britain
taking it.
Colonialism.
I know, but the steps that go through taking it, you'd think like, that happened because they make the pictures black and white. When you think of old school stuff, you think of way back in the day. But no, it's occurring right now where man literally is still just, more.
And you know the best part about it? I just realized the other day, because I just found out the other day, that the founder of Zionism was an atheist.
Makes sense.
So it's not a religious war. So yes, some people use the religious argument to back their claim to the land. But it's not because they're Jewish and the others are Islamic why they're at each other's throats. That's not why the Zionist movement... No, that is partly why they're at each other's throats, but that's not why the Zionist movement was started. The Zionist movement is just colonialism.
Aren't most things an offshoot of that?
Ashkenazi Jews are European. They're not Middle Eastern. Why were they transported to the Middle East?
How old was I? I think I was...
And given the land.
I think I was...
that the Arabs lived on.
I was about 23 when I learned that there were different types
by
of Jews,
white British people. None of this makes sense. How the white British people own the Middle Eastern land that the Arabs live on and then give it to the Ashkenazi European Jews? How this makes sense?
Because they could. And so they did.
Big gun talking at them time and still no.
Let's use
So that's why I'm saying both sides are right and wrong. Both sides have done things that they shouldn't have.
Hold on. Let's use, you're saying the whole big gun talk thing. I think it's less big, well...
I'm sure this is Samantha.
It's big money.
Are you not coming home?
It's big money, and big money then funds big guns. Because without the money, guns won't flow. And you remember Joey Badass line? Money is the root of all. They say money is the root of all evil, but I say money is the root of all people.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to most of the times, because all these people waging proxy wars or having proxies in regions so that they can influence stuff is to influence control, to control money, to have money coming in. So there's less big gun mentality and more greed for money mentality, like accumulation of assets, wealth, paper, the gold bars, whatever you guys want to call it. That's pretty much what a lot of shit boils down to. Like even in the podding industry, like the podcasting world has been a fire this past weekend because one of the biggest podcasts, I think the biggest hip hop podcast, blew asunder. Why did it blow asunder? Money. One dude was playing funny with the books, didn't want to pay him two bridging them, ended up firing him two bridging them, and then you find out, oh, it's because he being funny with the books. Individuals do it, corporations do it. Of course the British Empire going to do it. Do you think the British Empire ever ended? Or did it just reshape itself?
That's a really question.
For you, yeah.
Bro, God, the Commonwealth is an extension of Britain, of colonialism.
The fact that the Queen's still the head of
it's neo-colonialism.
The fact that the Queen's still the head of our state kind of annoys me.
Exactly. So
what's the Governor General actually do? I know he's her proxy here, but what does he do?
He's her proxy. He has to sign off on things the Queen would sign off on.
Such as?
I don't know.
No one knows. That's the
knows. He just gets a lot of money for
that's the problem. No, everybody I've asked, like, I know people in politics, I know lawyers, I know doctors, I know this smart motherfucker Bob. No one can tell me what the Governor General
I mean, there's
does.
a list somewhere, but like, I don't care. It's just, it's antiquated. We don't need him. Like, royalty, the Queen, monarchy don't make sense. It's stupid.
It's amazing.
How can they have a system of government based on the fact that God said this family line is divine and they should rule over you, and only this family line, and everyone else just went, okay.
Word.
No. What? That's so stupid.
Bad man, I get it when like resources were thin, you know what I'm saying? And
like this guy did really well at what he did. He was a great leader. All right, cool. So maybe his son will be just like him, so his son will lead. Bro
God, I get it when like resources were thin and the person who had all the resources
when
was
your
like,
village was 50 people.
Yeah, and you had all the shit and you were like, all right, cool. I run this. What do you mean you run this? Well, I have all the shit and I'll share it with you, but me run it. All right, cool. I overs that. It's 2021. The Meghan Markle and Prince Harry thing that happened the other day, the Oprah interview. My mother was there watching it and she was like into it in a dog, like, cause she loves the royal family. She loves the pageantry of it all. I was there sitting down.
She's a good royal subject.
What?
Your mother born before 62?
Don't say that.
Your mother born before 62?
You don't tell a lady's age.
But that's just...
Is she born before 62? No.
No?
No, but like in that area.
Is your father?
Oh yeah.
He was born before 62?
Yeah.
So he was a British subject? He was born a British subject?
Yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah. She was enjoying the pageantry of it all, and everything.
She was into the interview.
Everything about it. Me, I'm there chilling by the table thinking to myself, how the fuck does a royal family still exist? Like,
and enough money them get a year from
even
taxes,
if they still exist, right? Why do you give a fuck what Prince Harry or like, oh, they were worried.
They still have a lot of power and influence.
Why?
All right. I mean, it's possibly just world history, you know, bro. We don't understand it because we never had those things on our side of the world. It was brought to us by the whites. But
we have sense.
All right, so I was looking into the. So I tell you, I've been watching my geography videos.
Still?
Yeah.
You've been watching them shits for weeks.
So many. But Liechtenstein is literally a mountain valley. The entire country is one valley, each up beside Germany. Half of the country is mountain. Nobody don't live there. Everybody lives in the valley for the most part. Right? There's a small plateau on the other side of the mountain that they do nothing with because there's a fucking mountain in the way. So, but how they got it when there existed the Holy Roman Empire, which was ruled by a family called the Habsburgs in Austria. They were a Catholic family. They had power and money. They united a lot of smaller kingdoms in what is mostly modern Germany into the Holy Roman Empire. And some prince who did some work for them or whatever was granted that piece of land for himself, and his family name is von Liechtenstein. So to this day, that country is still ruled by the royal family, the Liechtenstein family, because they literally own that land, like legally. It was given to them by the owners at the time.
You want to change topic? Because I'm just going to get annoyed by
Monaco still have royalty.
By this whole concept.
Most microstates have royalty. But the oh gosh, it's...
I actually saw something earlier I want to talk to you about.
The one in Italy, San Marino. It's also it's also a mountain.
Marino or Maria? Marino, okay.
It's also a mountain. Fun fact. It is actually... They actually have two heads of state that split the rule equally. So it's not a monarchy, it's a duarchy. But it's like it's not a king, they're not princes, it's like a admiral regent or some fucking weird title like that.
Like Duke and Duchesses and all them shits.
Your sister come back in?
No. Alright, so I saw this tweet earlier and I did bookmark it because I wanted to talk to you about it. It's from the New Scientist. You guys can check them out if you want. We have now detected gravitational waves from 47 pairs of black holes smashing together. Nearly 1/3 of them may be strange primordial black holes. First step. Did you know two black holes could like exist together before colliding? Like, did you know they could be in the same space without coming together?
I mean, as long as they never got into a terminal part of each other's gravity field.
But they're fairly close to each other. How do you not have...
It's extremely dense.
Exactly.
So it's an extremely concentrated point of gravity.
But a black hole pull everything in around it.
Within its...
gravitational pull.
Within its field. And within the event horizon.
They are very, very, very close. Like
Well, maybe there are very minute tolerances within the space-time fabric, bro.
I delved in, pull that back, you're sliding away again. I delved into that because that sounded mad amazing, right? They don't know obviously because no one's going up to a black hole and like, you know, taking pictures of it and shit.
I'm gonna touch it.
But they think that in that tiny area between both event horizons, like before the black holes tear each other apart.
Hey, technically, in that area is invisible. Remember?
Yeah, Voltron.
Voltron.
Before they tear each other apart by tearing apart like space fabric, essentially, to become a bigger black hole. They think that whatever is occurring...
Looks like Beyblades. Looks like Beyblade.
It look like Beyblades. No, those are the two black holes coalescing. They think that whatever occurs like right there, if time travel or movement through, like punching through time was to ever be a thing, it would probably happen there just from the sheer density that occurs just before they start tearing each other apart. Like that little split, like just before. But my question is, what are you going to do with that information?
So the issue with time travel is that, with wormholes at least.
Wormholes. Let's not say time travel. Let's say wormholes.
Say that you have
like punching through space.
A black hole on one end and a black hole on the other end, and you're hoping that there's a connection between these two, right? What is keeping this connection open? That would require energy. Where is this energy coming from? Black holes condense to a single point that rotates around a fixed point called a ringularity. In 2D. It spins around a fixed point. That fixed point is the densest, that is the center of the black hole.
Yeah, it's the densest point in the that we know. Only thing more dense than that is a bigger black hole.
So that's the ringularity. So it's just, man, it's, as you said, what you do,
what are you going to do with the information?
Basically, the tunnel would try to close itself at whatever point it could. So even if you went into the one end of the wormhole, there's no guarantee you would be able to come out of the other end. You would probably just be stuck there.
For those of you having a hard time picturing this, think of it this way, right? Go to YouTube, type in slow motion gunshot underwater. There are a bunch of videos on them, especially like by the slow-mo guys. The violence of the explosion or the gunshot underwater
forces it all.
Literally forces a void open. And then the bullet will come out. And then what happens immediately after that space is created, immediately comes back in on itself. Like it you have to slow it down to some shit like 1/5000th of a second and then play the frames through to like see what's occurring. That's how tiny of a time we're talking about here. What are we going to do with that information? That's my main question, because I'm pretty sure there are a lot of other things that, you know, we could be spending our time. It's cool, don't get me wrong. I really like that there are people out there doing it. But I don't see the app. Why?
What's the necessity of learning this information?
Yeah.
I don't know, dog. Just applying physics, just a thirst for knowledge, understanding the universe. There may not be a direct connotation of what this knowledge can be used for, but maybe the processes used to figure this out can be used to figure out things that have real life applications. It's like when you learn math in school and you go, miss, when the hell will I ever use a simultaneous equation? And the teacher's like, no, it's not about doing a simultaneous equation. It's about having the logical ability to work out a problem in multiple ways.
I still to this day defending, I never needed to learn matrices. You can do matrices right now?
I can defend trigonometry.
I can defend trig too. I can't defend matrices.
I never thought about that, but I can't defend matrices. Right now, if you put a matrix in front of me, I don't know how to do it.
Athena was doing matrices the other day, and like I knew what it was because I know how you set up matrices.
Yeah, I know how you write it, but I don't know how to work it out.
Don't ask me anything beyond that. But I learned it to pass the exam and immediately deleted the file. Like, don't ask me nothing about
memory for games.
Man, for game and fucker and girl. It's amazing. But don't ask me not. Like, I still defend. I didn't need to learn matrices. Algebra, trig, all them things that teach you reasoning. I get it. I didn't need to learn matrices. Is there any other thing like that you think I really didn't need to learn that, you know?
Most of high school.
Alright guys, we took another quick break. I had to change the battery on the main camera. It died. I'm gonna get a dummy battery for that, like what I have for that, so it can just run infinitely. And that'll be much better. But as you guys can see by the background, it's night time. Bobby's got to go home before Sam thump him in his face. That sounds so bad. I don't think Sam will actually thump me in the face, but she will get upset at you. So let's wrap up the pod. Thank you guys for listening to this episode of the BamCast. Check out youtubebright.com, promo code BAM10, 10% off anything you guys have ordered. Thank you to Boomdraw Physics and Prismatic Verse for their parts in this whole thing, you know, Prismatic Verse for the intro sequence, Boomdraw Physics for the intro and outro song. Shout out to Bobby B for forwarding. Don't know. Thank you guys for powering with us. Share with your friends, leave a like, comment below, you know, help us out with all the algorithm stuff. Join the power. Dropping bombs on your moms.
Are these peanuts on the ground?
Probably.
What the fuck?
Fuck car alarms.